you know, the namesake of the marathon, and she will be running a Soul Blazer with El Magus yelling at her from the side. So, good luck on the run. You are live.
Hello, welcome to Scrub-a-thon, where Magus will yell at me for the next 2.5 hours.
I was wondering about this estimate nonsense. It should say sub 2. I don't know. It's,
yeah, sure. It totally should say sub 2, sure. Because my PB is totally a sub 2. And I'm absolutely not trash at this game. But I am gonna go out of my way to do some safeties just because I'm still trash at this game, so yeah.
It's not that bad. Come on.
It is for me.
You got this. You got this.
It's okay. That's why I said, guys, we're just gonna listen to Magus make fun of me for the next 2.5 hours.
I'm not gonna purposefully make fun of you. I think.
You think? It's pretty bad, so. I think I'm ready to go here. Should I count this down?
Yep, go ahead.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So hopefully Magus will talk, because I can't do much
Hold on,
concentrating and playing this game, because apparently I cannot walk and chew gum at the same time.
Okay. I just need to make my delay a little bit lower. I'm working on it. But this is Soul Blazer, if you haven't noticed, and it's a Enix game, first of the Enix trilogy. And yeah, it's very simple, very easy game. What you gotta know is essentially the story of the game is pretty much that you start out in the heavens, you know, and the master talks down to you and says, well, there's a lot of evil going on down below on Earth, you know. Death Toll has imprisoned all living beings, and you gotta go down and, well, you gotta rescue everybody. A lot of bad things that the humans did. You know, made a pact with Death Toll, and that backfired. So yeah, now you're on your mission here to rescue everybody, including animals and plants and all that. So all living beings. And the way you do that is essentially at the start she got into a little tutorial section there where she got her first sword. And the sword is one of the main things, of course, that will help you kill enemies in this game. The way it works is that Death Toll, by imprisoning everybody, he basically sealed everything in these monster layers. So there's essentially 3 types of layers, roughly. There is layers that spawn monsters like 1 by 1. We will be seeing that mostly. Those are the majority of the layers, and you know, once all the monsters from a certain layer are killed, you know, you can seal it. Then there is layers where the monsters are already on the map, and then there is layers where multiple monsters spawn at the same time, essentially. And yeah, our goal is for the speedrun here to, of course, only kill the layers that we absolutely need to in order to progress with the story. RPG already mentioned, though, that she will also probably do some optional things to make it a little bit easier on herself, which is understandable. This game, while it is relatively simple, it has some sections that are pretty dangerous in a speedrun, so getting a couple of safeties is definitely understandable in that regard. Additionally, we have the sword. Swords are good and all of that, but you also already saw her use some magic here and there. The way magic works is you can get magic spells in the game that you have to equip, and monsters, whenever you kill them, leave gems after they die. And there's 3 gem drops. That the 1 gem drop, you know, 1 gem. Then there's a 4 gem drop that is a middle gem, and a big gem gives you 10 gems. And the way magic works is that, for instance, we got the fireball spell, and it takes 4 gems to shoot a fireball at the enemies. You see the rotating blue ball around yourself. That is essentially the soul that will shoot that magic. We will get 2 magic spells in the game. The fireball is pretty decent, you know, it does a decent amount of damage. And we will get 1 more spell that is essentially going to last us for the whole run in World 2. For now, though, we went through the first part here, easy peasy, did everything we could, and we're going to deploy one of the main speedrun strategies really soon here. We're going to Death Warp. Now, whenever you die in this game, you get sent back to the hub, where the master is, and you lose all your gems. That's not a bad thing, though, because that saves you from walking back all the way to town anyways when you have to, and you can just, you know, start right there. The only drawback, like I said, if you don't have gems, well, you can't cast magic, so you gotta be careful where exactly you death warp. But for the especially for the first part of the run, it's going to be a very frequent thing to do.
Yeah, later in the game, where a lot of these more experienced players will death warp, I tend not to, just to keep my gems to not die, especially in the grid castle.
Yeah, it's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. But yeah, at the start here, we essentially start releasing this first village here, where we release some humans, some tulips, and yeah, just running through for now. The way that you this game works with enemies and all that, like, it seems like if you just look at it, it seems like, okay, these enemies just kind of move randomly. That's not the case, though. Like, 95% of the enemies actually move relative to you, so it really, really matters how you position yourself. If you can get into a certain spot with certain enemies, you can kill them very, very easily. There is only a very select few enemies that will move randomly in this game, and these plants that we saw here, those are one type of those enemies, but everything else, like the goblins, for instance, depending on where you position yourself, they will move in a certain way towards you. So for a speedrun, if you know where you have to stand, you can manipulate essentially every enemy in a pretty decent fashion.
Yeah, there's plants here that move randomly, and there'll also be plants in the next stage that'll be fairly annoying because when they extend their little tendrils out, they're basically invulnerable until they come back. I hate plants in this game.
Yep, they are definitely the worst. So another thing about your sword in this game is that you can not only swing it, which you would think, okay, that's the logical thing that you would do with the sword. You can also poke things with your sword, which is actually going to be a better damage source later on than swinging in some cases, because, well, I guess I'm not going to spoil how the equipment system works just yet. But yeah, poking, essentially, if you poke an enemy, you can hold out the sword with your shoulder buttons. It does 1 damage at a time, but really, really rapidly. So, while swinging, of course, does take the power of the sword into account. So, poking will be a very, very nice way of getting rid of some enemies here and there. Especially in combination with an accessory that we're going to get later on. Excuse me? MQ Rando? No, thank you.
Hey, if you want MQ Rando, then you know the Valkyries will play. You just have to meet that $6,000 incentive. That's all.
How about we get a little closer to that? How about a $30 donation from P Diggity Dog? We're so close to the goal. 250 away.
Thank you, P Diggity Dog.
Say poking some more. Why? I mean, what do you give me for saying poking some more? Alright, we're utilizing another death warp here. Experience looks very good. That's the next thing that we gotta pay attention to a little bit, honestly. experience is actually very, very important in this game. So the way leveling works in this game is, again, it's really simple. Every even numbered level up, you get a power, one power more. Every odd level up, so level 1, 3, 5, and so on and so forth, you get 1 defense. Very simple. You also get an HP boost every level up, but very important for the speedrun, whenever you level up, you also refill all of your health. So, in a speedrun, the route, at least the optimal route, makes you take some damage boosts here and there. And it is routed in a way where the level ups are in very, very precise spots. So you want to take a lot of damage just before you level up, and then get the level up. If you do take a couple safeties, that will be a little bit off, I would assume. But yeah, experience management can be a huge factor in how fast you can go in this game. So that is definitely something to pay attention to. The game also doesn't really tell you when you get a level up. I mean, I think you can check in the A menu. I'm not sure though. But
I don't know.
yeah, I never checked that menu. So who cares? But you should definitely know when at what experience you get the level up. Like look it up somewhere. Spoilers, I don't actually know when I get level ups, but it doesn't
Well,
matter.
that was a lot sooner than I was supposed to get it. What the heck?
Yeah.
And I didn't even take any safeties yet.
I wonder what you killed that I missed.
I'd like to know that too.
Because usually you're supposed to be around like 92 to 95 experience here. You get the level up at 100, so and enemies
Yeah, usually I level up with the birds and the painting.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean it's not that big a deal. It's a slight time loss, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter too much, right? All right, here. You don't
Not
need
really.
the HP refill here.
Well, you don't.
I mean, do you need it for the birds? I don't think so.
Not for the birds, no.
Alright, we're already in the final area of Fort 1 here, and you saw right, we are in a painting, because that makes sense. And it's infested with monsters, so I can try to get rid of them. Yeah, RPG's gonna try. These torches have a little bit more HP than most things in this world, and RPG is trying to kill them with magic. Does a decent job of it. It's a very difficult, probably the most difficult room in World 1, honestly, with the torches to do this fast. That was pretty alright. But yeah, going forward here, she definitely wants to pay attention a little bit to not taking too much damage. We have set up for the end of this another level up, right before the boss. But the enemies here, since you're supposed, and casually you're supposed to already have the first armor, but in a speedrun, we're of course skipping that. So enemies do a little bit more damage than they should right now. Hence why she has to be a little bit careful, but so far so good, I would say.
Well, we'll see. I always have a little trouble getting through this part. If I die, though, you know, you can always come right back, which is kind of the nice thing about this game. You know, if you die, you go right back to the hub. So you lose some time having to walk back, but it's not like you completely game over or anything.
Yep, indeed.
Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's looking good, looking good. She also picked up in the treasure chest there an item called a medical herb. So aside from your weapons, armor, and your magic, you also have a miscellaneous menu where all your, you know, miscellaneous stuff goes, and including the medical herb. Now what the medical herb does, if you equip it, then once you lose all HP, it will automatically refill all of your health, which is going to be really important for the first boss that is coming up here.
Alright, we made it in. We're good. Barely, but we made it.
Yep. And there is the level up I spoke of, so that is the HP refill right before the boss. She will also want to equip the medical herb as soon as she's done with this lair, because we're going to try to employ a quick kill on this very first boss.
We're gonna try.
So the first boss is Solid Arm, and the way it works is you have these conveyors here, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to poke him or get... Ooh.
Alright, we're gonna have to go for slow strats.
That's fine. So you can show them what you're supposed to do, anyways. So yeah, I was going to say, what you're supposed to do is, like, you know, go up those conveyors, do a little bit of damage, go back, dodge the fireballs, and so on and so forth. We're going to see that. What she was trying to do, which is actually not as easy as it looks, because the conveyors move you, which is the difficult part about it. But you can get into his hitbox and maintain your position there. Take a lot of damage, but it's just barely enough if you poke him just right in order to kill him in one, well, essentially one go. You do absolutely need the medical herb in level 3 to do this, though. So, and yeah, if you make one slight mistake and the conveyor pushes you too far into his hitbox, you saw, he will start swinging like crazy, and that is when he's also invulnerable, so it's very easy to get a little bit over-anxious there and then make a small mistake and you're already done. So there's really no shame. I think all runners, even the Mighty Hulk has died to Solid Arm before, so no shame in that. But yeah, this is kind of what you're supposed to do casually anyways.
Although some people, I think, only utilize the central platform because it allows you to escape quicker.
Yep. The conveyors obviously push you into the directions they are showing. This is where the Japanese version actually has a little bit of an advantage, because the middle section actually doesn't even have a conveyor, so you can just stand there and run around like at free will.
Seriously?
Yep. The Japanese version in general is the same, except for all boss fights almost. Like, that's pretty much the only difference the Japanese version has are the boss fights. Which is actually kind of interesting. Anyways, every time you defeat a boss in a world, you release the leader of said world, and now we release the village chief, and yeah, what we're supposed to do is collect these stones that the leaders of the world have in order to open the gates to the world of evil at the very end, so we can face Death Toll. And of course, much faster text for Japanese, yeah. But I mean, I think that's implied, except if you game as Illusion of Gaia for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what the Japanese thought there, but yeah. Alright, that's World 1 down though, and you know, usually World 1 in games is kind of like, yeah, okay, this is kind of like, you know, what I do. It should be easy. I think in Soul Blazer, World 1 is definitely, especially in order to optimize it, it's one of the more difficult sections of the game. There's certainly easier things than I can think of than World 1, doing World 1 optimally, so that's one of the more annoying parts down out of the way. Unfortunately, we're moving into the most annoying part of this game, which is World 2. And the reason for that is, as I mentioned already, we are supposed to have armor right here. So everything that touches us will actually deal a lot of damage to us at this point. And the enemies here, to top it all off, are even more annoying than the enemies that we already faced in World 1. Mainly these plants that you might have already seen on top here. Those plants, unlike the plants in World 1, they will actually be invulnerable until, or, well, they will be invulnerable when they shoot out their arm, and they will always shoot out their arm, as you can see, when you're reasonably close to them, like one tile away, horizontally. So what will happen is that you will try to damage them, but they will shoot out their arm, and you can't damage them at that time. The best way to get around that is shoot magic from very far away, which is a bit slow if you're close to them. Here, for this layer, we're just going to try to make them shoot out the arm. After that, get close. They can't, like, repeatedly shoot it out, so you always have a small window whenever they did their shoot out their arm once that you can get close, can quickly kill them. Alright, so far so good. Should get a level up here reasonably soon.
Yeah.
And there's also another medical herb really close here, so shouldn't be any more issues. These spikes are also very dangerous that are coming out, or the spears coming out of the floor here. Again, no armor means more damage, and these spikes do a lot of damage to you, so you gotta be really, really careful here. And mostly, like, I'm not even gonna talk about the layers that she releases for the most part. It is mainly going to be the way that I said we're basically just doing what we need to in order to complete the game. So whenever you see her seal a layer, it's probably essential to complete the game, more or
Yeah,
less.
there's just gonna be 2 extra layers, one here and one in the fire shrine in order to get the ice armor. I don't use it for the fire shrine, but I use it for Leo's lab later on.
That is definitely something that I would pick up, yeah. I mean, you should still equip it in the fire shrine, or
Well,
whenever you get
I'm
it.
usually done with the fire shrine. I don't go back for it. I
Okay,
just go to the fire shrine.
that's fair. That's fair. All right, we can see
That
how
was
annoying.
nice.
Oh,
Very nice.
pretty okay, yeah. Well, you have a lot of gems. Very good. So, additionally to this world being reasonably difficult because the enemies are annoying, you also want to maintain a reasonably high gem count here in order to kill things as fast as you can. Again, we're going to pick up another magic spell here that is going to be very, very useful, but that one is going to use 8 gems instead of 4. So having a high gem count in order to go fast, in this world especially, is very essential. And yeah, Hulk just mentioned you should re-equip the medical herb because you had to equip the brush, just so you don't forget it.
Oh yeah, I usually put it on when I get to the fire shrine.
So this statue there specifically is one of the optional layers she was talking about that will eventually give her access to the ice armor, which is an optional armor, but definitely something that I would recommend you pick up on unless you're going for a really, really, really good PvE.
I'll get there someday, I promise.
I mean, it's literally the last safety you should drop, probably. Literally the last one.
It's pretty much the last one I've taken, so...
Yeah.
This dude's in my way.
Nah. This is why plants
There
are
we go.
annoying.
Okay, this dude has to go. It really has to go. There we
Nice
go.
gem drop. Okay, so there's 8 of these plants in this layer, so yeah, it is very, very... And this layer especially is very annoying to deal with because you're very close to a level up, but this is also a place where if you get unlucky and, you know, the plants hit you a couple times, you will waste your medical herb. Can happen if, you know... plants are RNGs, so if they just hate you and you get too close too early and stuff, then yeah, that will just happen. She already got the level up though, so that's very nice. And now we're going inside the fire shrine, which has a whole bunch of new enemies that are actually less threatening than most of the enemies that we already saw, because all these enemies pretty much move depending on where you stand. So there's some easy ways to manipulate most of them. There's one particular enemy in this fire shrine that will be slightly annoying to deal with, but we'll get there when we get there. Which is really soon, actually. Haha.
Extremely soon.
Alright, so coming up here, after we kill the normal lizards here, at the bottom there will be lizards that look exactly the same, but they're about 100 times more annoying than the normal ones. Because there is lizards that will teleport after they spawn. So like, the way that works is they will spawn and then they will teleport 2 tiles in either direction. They can choose randomly. Oh, you're going to do the optional layer first. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. But yeah, those teleporting lizards, whenever they start that teleport, they are already invulnerable. So you essentially gotta wait for them to teleport, and then quickly, when they reappear, try to kill them in one swift go, which is really, really difficult to do. So, yeah, like I said, they also teleport into any of the 4 directions randomly. So, and since they all spawn in one go as well down here, it is really, really hard to kill that layer optimally because, well, it's RNG, essentially, whether you can do that or not. And now you can see that first the lizard decided to be relatively cooperative. Okay, most of them go left. That's pretty okay, as long as they don't get in your face. You would also think, while they teleport, hey, they're invisible, they can't damage you. Ha! Yeah, well, they
You'd
still,
like to think that.
yeah, they still damage you, so you gotta be really, really careful about that. But that was actually reasonably good. Definitely seen worse than that before. You can indeed still see their shadows. And yeah, we're about to go over this bridge here. Whenever these bridges light up, you will actually start taking damage one at a time. Which doesn't sound like much, but it definitely adds up if you are not careful. So we do still have the medical herb, which is this part specifically here is the reason to have it, because we're going to actually purposefully use it just to go a little bit faster. But yeah, the lair she is clearing right now will actually spawn a fairy, which fairies in this game always send you back to the city as well. That's not why we're spawning it. This specific fairy will have our next magic spell, which is going to be the light arrow, and the light arrow is probably the most powerful spell in the game, and yes, the game gives you that as the second spell in the game. The reason it's so powerful is that it shoots a light arrow in all 4 directions, so that already makes it really, really convenient to kill multiple enemies at the same time. Additionally, the light arrow, of course, is more powerful than the fireball magic, so it's a very nice thing as well. But yeah, we got more of the teleporting lizards here. So optimally, she would try to get light arrows on the top right here, but preserving gems. Yeah. It's exceptionally difficult to time it correctly to actually hit the top right here with light arrows at the same time while you're killing the other layer. So understandable that's not happening, but yeah, because these teleporting lizards, again, they move in random directions, and then you have to time it correctly so that you don't accidentally hit them while they're teleporting, because that wouldn't do damage. Yeah, could you imagine lizards would teleport in real life?
Oh my god. Please no.
I mean, I guess it's more of a kind of a camouflage thing than a teleport, really. So, like a chameleon, I suppose, but I don't know.
That would still be pretty goddamn awful, though.
Alright, we're looking really beautiful on gems, by the way. 113 is pretty exceptional. And as you can see, compared to your sword swings that you have, the light arrow will be a lot better, essentially one-shotting enemies. Bird?
Yes, the birds in this game are still jerks.
Oh yeah.
I died 2 times in practice to the jerk bird yesterday.
Nice. Alright, I think we're looking pretty okay on experience, definitely after those kills. Gonna get some safety gems here. So we're at 150, that is more than enough. And now, before we can go to the final area of World 2, we do have to do some quests in town. We essentially have to get an item that will allow us to board the rafts that are waiting for us there. We do still need to clear a layer down here that will give us a teleporter, but that shouldn't be that big of an issue. Hopefully, yeah, we good. We good. Since we did get level 5 as well, again, that's an odd level up. We do have more defense now, so things will actually start dealing considerably less damage to us. So at this point, we're pretty okay. So yeah, quick run around here. We're gonna meet Turbo the dog in a dream here. I like in the rando where he just says peace. And then, you know.
If you haven't seen Lahulk's rando, I highly recommend it because Lahulk has done some absolutely wonderful dialogue changes.
Agreed. Okay, so another optional thing that RPG did here, she's talking to the mole. There is, like, we have the soul that we got at the very start of the tutorial that shoots the magic for us, but you can get essentially upgrades for your soul. They, more or less, there is, like, people from the heavens that join you on Earth, and this mole is one of them. And what he does is that in the upcoming area, there is a dark basement, and he will give you light there. So that is essentially his only purpose, and that's why he joins us. It's optional to pick it up because you can also move in the dark, but
I can never find my way past the final way.
that is absolutely fair. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd stop getting them. Eventually, that's something I have to figure out is just how to get through after
Yeah.
the ghosts.
Yeah. So, and again, she's picking up the ice armor, right, Meow? Which, very nice armor, does give 2 defense, and also has the property for the fire shine where we were, where the bridges light up. It will, the ice armor will prevent you from taking damage from that fire, so that is very nice. Additionally, it's also going to be very, very useful later on in World 5, because there's also a part that has you know, fire bridges, and it will also prevent damage there. And that's the main reason she actually picks up the armor, because right now, I mean, it's nice to have the protection for the next part, but it's not quite necessary. I can try next time we meet up, High Spirits. Don't worry. I put on my boots just for you.
Oh my. That sounds fun.
Alright, so at the start here, there's a bunch of layers that surround you, essentially, and what she did is she provoked a couple of enemies in order to, you know, aggro them towards herself, and then with 1 or 2 swift light arrow shots take care of a bunch of enemies at the same time, which is, of course, very, very efficient, and yeah. That went pretty well. Just, I think 1 more lava golem was left here, right?
Yep.
No, 2.
Alright, you're on slight delay.
I'm a slight delay, yeah.
Oh, goody, more teleporting lizards. Just what everybody wanted.
Yep. So, the lizards are slightly less annoying at this point, though, because you are level 6 and that gave you 1 more attack, which makes it a little bit easier for you to kill them. They are still reasonably annoying, of course, but you can pretty much kill them almost guaranteed in 1 swift swing if you position yourself correctly. I'm a stick? I am, but my boots are not, dude. Yeah, from here on out, there...
Sons.
yeah. Okay, you didn't take damage from the sun at least, I think. Because the suns are still something to watch out for. The suns will deal, I think 4 damage at this point still, which is actually pretty bad. So you definitely don't want to get hit by those. What you're supposed to do in casual is you're supposed to get an upgraded sword that will stun the sun enemies here. But, you know, in a speedrun, we ain't got no time for that. We're just dodging. No problem.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
If you don't, I mean, there is still, you know, you can heal up for free, essentially. Ooh, that's nice positioning for those lizards.
What the heck? Get out of here. Yeah, I'm bad at this part. That's alright. As you say, eventually there'll be a free heal, so.
Yep.
Hey, we got another donation here for ya. We got $50 from Fluffy Mittens. Save all the burbs. All of them.
Save the burbs. No, I don't want to save the burbs.
Save. Did you hear Fluffy? He said save all the burbs. Now don't argue with the donation. Good luck and meeting that final donation goal. Thank you very much. We're only 200 away from RPGchick being stuck playing Mystic Quest Randomizer. Woohoo!
Yay. I think it's more the Valkyries being stuck playing with me.
Share the excitement with them.
Go away.
I'm looking forward to the Mystic Quest Rando. Mainly because I don't have to play. So there is that.
Don't you still technically owe me a playthrough for that Randathon?
Do I? Do I really? I mean, I was at GSH at the time. It was vacation time. Come on. And I had to run Chrono Trigger.
Didn't you run something else too?
I ran a lot of things at GSH, but I don't know.
Oh no, I meant in the Randathon.
Oh, that too, yeah. Oh yeah, I had to run Chrono Rando too. That's right. But yeah, I did run one or two things there. I don't know. Too much to do. Anyways, we're going to get our free heal right here because there's a teleporter. There's always 3 teleporters to the hub, which 2 of them are mostly spread out over the course of the world, and the first one, of course, will lead to the main area, the town, most of the time. So that one you get for free once you enter the world, obviously, and the other 2 you have to discover. In some worlds, we are going to ignore some of them, but yeah. Coming up here is
strats.
probably the most difficult boss in the game, the 3 lion head statues, which the first 2 you can reasonably manipulate by just positioning yourself correctly and then, you know, continuously poking them. The third one is a little bit more difficult to kill really quickly, but there is also ways to do that safely, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to try to do that, yeah. It's a little bit slower than the optimal way, but nobody... I would blame nobody. Again, this is probably something that if you just wanted to play the game, you should probably not worry about going too fast on these guys. Like, this is something that you probably need to learn just to get a really, really good PB, like an absolutely godlike one.
Oh, that's good. At least I still have 76 gems left for the rocks coming up.
Alright, but once we get rid of the statues, we get the next stone, and we're free to move on to World 3.
Oh, not record. Come on. I didn't press that button.
Oh yeah, that's every time you want to move on, the game is not nice enough to just let you move on essentially by mashing. You do have to... the first option is always going to be safe, essentially, and you have to pay attention to not mash through that, so you have to push down in order to move, unfortunately. So the first part of World 3 here is one of the most difficult parts in the game. After that, World 3 is the longest world in the game. It's not really terribly difficult, though, unless you go for absolutely optimal strats, which I'm pretty sure we're not going to see.
No.
That's not
confirm that.
Absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. No shame in that.
Also, I really, really hate these fish.
Yeah, the fish shoot bubbles at you, depending on where you stand, of course, and these bubbles actually hurt you quite a lot, especially if you don't have armor. We fortunately do have armor right now, so that makes our job a little bit easier, but yeah. Especially, you know, most enemies here, if you position yourself correctly, won't do anything to you, but these bubbles, if they are in your way and you can't move because you're fighting another enemy, then they can get very annoying very quickly. Another reason for us to actually maintain a lot of our gems are these stones. These stones don't take a lot of damage from your sword, so one Swift Light Arrow shot will take care of them, fortunately. So the goal is essentially at the end of World 2 to have about 60 gems roughly for this part. So just so you can get rid of all the stones very easily. We had more than enough to guarantee that we can do that though, so that's everything went reasonably well here. We have also more plants here, which well, they also move randomly, but they're not nearly as annoying as the World 2 ones. And we're almost done with the first part here. Just gotta get rid of all of this, and then another Donkey Kong lair. Donkey Kongs, fortunately, are not too difficult. You can manipulate their movement reasonably easily, and yeah, she's actually positioning herself in a way where she takes a lot of damage here. That's on purpose, because we're going to take another Death Warp back here, and yeah, gems won't matter that much from this point onwards. It'd still be nice to get a couple, just to be on the safe side, but, you know, it's not gonna be too bad. Actually, it helps that I hear the game audio through your microphone, because then I know where you are, actually, compared to my delay.
Yeah, I turned off my air conditioning for a little while, so it should actually be easier to hear.
Yeah, so right now we just have to kill this one there. The gimmick in World 3, unfortunately, is a very bad one. There is a lot of areas you can visit here, but in order to get access to them, you have to release these mermaid statues, and then talk to the mermaid statues, and they will give you access to the next area. There's 4 of them in total, and yeah, you gotta go from one area to another in order to, get them. So again, there's going to be a little bit of death warping here and there. We did also get an armor upgrade because we are underwater now. Fortunately, one of the mermaids gave us a bubble armor, which essentially makes it so that we can breathe underwater and not take damage. If you wouldn't have it equipped, you would take 1 damage at a time, essentially, which would be pretty bad at this point because, we don't have that much health yet.
Yeah, the level where you are as you're playing the speedrun versus the level where you would be casually is like night and day. Especially speaking as somebody who played this game casually for many, many years. It was like a shock. Yes, please keep dropping those giant gems. I'd like those for the rocks in the area.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of shots already.
I hate jellyfish. I hate them in real life, and I don't like them much better in this game.
Yeah, jellyfish are kind of odd. They will always charge towards you if you're 1 tile close to them, but if you're not, they actually move randomly, so it's very easy for them to get away from you if you're not close enough. So in general, we want to position, if we know we want to fight these jellyfish, we want to position ourselves on a way where they will immediately charge, essentially, and then you can kill them relatively easily. But sometimes it also happens that they will just get away from you, unfortunately, and will cost a little bit of time.
And there's no reason for me to go get the safety herb. I still have the last herb. Which will save a little bit of time.
True. Man, you got a lot of gems.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Apparently I do.
So this is also one of the instances where the level up came early because of a couple safeties. Usually what you want to do, you want to be right before level 8, essentially, in this part, take a lot of damage, and then death warp. But, I mean, it's not a big deal that, you know, we get that early here.
No, luckily there's plenty of monsters around here to die quickly on.
Indeed.
I think I'm gonna grab the tier just in case I need it. I don't usually, but sometimes. Usually I can level up right before that last layer, so hopefully if I get that I don't have to worry about bothering with the tier. But it's good to have it just in case. So the next area is a volcanic island where the stuff drops is totally RNG. But there's a thing at the top of the hill in the middle of the area where you can put the mermaid's tier down and it'll stop everything and the lava will cool. Because there is one layer that is in the lava, the last layer essentially that you need to step on. So I'm just bringing the mermaid's tier for an emergency if I don't have enough HP to get across it.
Fairly reasonable. Nice gem drop.
Megas is full of jealousy right now at my gem drops.
I mean, honestly, I usually have decent gem drops here, but you are definitely looking very good right now. Again, for the next area, we want a couple gems at least, because, you know, magic makes our life a lot easier than trying to kill stuff with our sword, but you don't necessarily need it in most cases. It's just like, you know, convenience, really.
Yeah, but especially because here you're trying to get rid of the rocks earlier than you even get to their lairs. It just makes it easier to have the gems.
Indeed.
Almost every time you get gems in this particular world is for the rocks. Don't jump on top of me. That's not nice.
And yeah, the falling rocks here are absolutely random, like RPG said, so... You only take 1 damage from them at a time, but, you know, if one hits you, it's essentially 2 damage because they're going to tick twice. And you can, in order to do this area optimally, you are only allowed to take, I believe it's 8 damage, maybe 7. So, and that is exceptionally difficult because, you know, it can be random and you can just get screwed over.
Oh, very much so.
So one thing I haven't talked about yet actually is that whenever you release something, something living that is, then you will regain some HP, which is actually very, very nice. In some cases, you can actually seal theirs that are optional in order to regain some HP. And you know, catch up a little bit if you're low on HP. So that's a very nice thing to do. It takes a little bit of time, of course, but yeah, the further you are in the game, the more HP you will also regain. So that's another nice thing about it. So generally speaking, it's 1 HP per world. It's not entirely true because, you know, it's a bit different than that, a bit more complicated, but that's the general rule of thumb. You do still have the herb, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Why are we killing pet rocks? Because they are trying to kill us! They've gone mad. Okay.
These birds are super, super annoying.
Yeah, birds are... They also move depending or relative to your position, but their movement is a lot more, well, aggressive than most other enemies are. So sometimes it is kind of difficult to dodge them if you don't know exactly where to position yourself in a certain time frame.
Are you serious?
This Donkey Kong lair is the last one we need to seal here.
But I'm pretty close to a level, so I'm gonna see if I can get it. There we go.
That's a very early level 9.
That's what happens when you do it the way I do it.
Yeah, so normally you're not supposed to get level 9 until after the next area, which, yeah. But I guess that makes sense because of the ice armor and stuff. Alright, and the lava will always do the same damage to you, by the way, and no matter what armor you have on, so... And it is exceptionally dangerous, so if you step on there, you know, take a lot of damage, no matter what. One way to get around that is, of course, having the medical herb, like, if to seal the last layer, you could use that, or, yeah, well, if you're close to a level up, might as well go for it, right?
Yep. That's why Mega said it's super important to kind of keep track of where your level ups are relatively. And I know I pretty much always level up somewhere in that area the way I do this. So it's a very easy way to plan it out. And I don't have to kill all the extra layers to get to the top of the mountain and use the mermaid's tears.
Indeed. Who would have figured stepping on lava would be dangerous? I didn't, man. Like, when I first played the game, I was like, yay, lava! Shoot.
On a scale of cozy to 10, how comfy is this game? If you're playing it casually, it's actually pretty cozy, but the speedrun is not kind. As people who have played the Gauntlet last week will tell you. Oh, what the hell am I doing? I'm on another planet. Hello, let's try going the right way.
It's the speed police in the background that is irritating you. Yeah, this game is actually really cozy, yeah. I also would say it's not too bad to pick up the speedrun. It can be very unforgiving, though. I mean, but it's definitely one of the easier games to get into, I would say.
Yeah, it is nice because the speedrun doesn't have any like glitches or anything. It's all just like optimizations. But there are definitely some places that are much harder than others to get used to.
Definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, so these metal crabs that she's fighting right now, they move every so often, and whenever they hide in their shell, then you can't actually damage them. So you want to hit them when they come out, and then, as you can see, if you continuously hit them with your swing, they will also be slowing down. So that will make it so that we can get them in essentially one go. And now, you know, we released Lou the Dolphin earlier, who gave us an amazing item called the Thunder Ring that we will use for the rest of the run, right? Right? Well...
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, they made you go to through that whole volcanic area for this item, just to use it here one time. Because the Thunder Ring, if you equip it, it will call down thunder whenever you are close to these nodes, these yellow nodes. And we have these metal Donkey Kongs here that you can't kill. So what the game wants you to do is like pull them towards these nodes, and then you can kill them with the thunder here, and then you can seal this layer. This is literally the only time in the game, though, where you can use the Thunder Ring. But fortunately, it will also give us the last mermaid statue, which means we're on our way to the boss of this world. After we die, of course. Because dying is fast. It's not a beautiful part about this speedrun, it's like you have to die. Like, you know, you can't just take damage and die. It's great.
You just have to be careful of the unintentional deaths. I don't really need the medical herb. I don't know why I'm equipping it. This boss is free. If you do this boss right, you technically shouldn't take any damage from it. Oh my god, I am really stupid. I forgot to talk to them. Hi, like I said, this is Scrub-a-thon, and Magus is absolutely allowed to make fun of me for that.
I mean, that happened to me too one time, so no shame in that, really. It wasn't in the marathon though, so there's that. But I'm not saying anything, man. I've done every stupid thing I can in this game. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I mean, that's just part of the process of getting better at this game, is you have to do everything stupid one time in order to know, hey, that's stupid. And then you'll never do it again, hopefully.
Sure, hopefully. Totally not the first time I've forgotten to talk to the statue.
You didn't have to say that, you know?
There's a reason that my PB is 210, so... And there's one of my favorite items in the game, the Power Bracelet. So,
Yeah.
Power Bracelet, if I may recall correctly, doubles your attack power?
Indeed, it doubles, just like everything. So, like, it's not only sword swings, but also your poke will deal 2 damage instead of 1, which is insane.
Take a quick heal, and let's go.
Well, I mean, all strategies are made up. That's why they're strategies, right? Because you made them up. Or am I wrong here?
No, sounds good to me.
Alright, so this boss fight is actually reasonably dangerous. We are level 9, so we have 1 additional defense point, but yeah. If you get hit here, you still, as you can see, take a lot of damage. The skull should never hit you if you move properly, but there is one dangerous part about this boss, are these hands. These hands, they have HP, but their HP amount is random, so it can take anywhere from I've seen between 3 to 20-ish hits. I've died to this boss before because one hand didn't die after like 20 hits. So, and they also do a good amount of damage to you. If you're level 9, fortunately you can take 2 hits. If you're level 8, which if you have a good run going, that's about the level you are here, well, then you can only take 1 hit, and that is exceptionally dangerous. But yeah, all in all, the bosses in this game, aside from the stonehead, lionhead statues, they are not too difficult. There's just like some things like the hands in this at this boss, for instance, that can just randomly screw you over.
Most of the bosses are really not too bad in this game.
Yeah. Does that make it a stratagem?
Also, the nice thing you learn when you're mashing and talking to people, you can actually mash with the Y button, and therefore you don't start a second conversation.
Yep. Indeed. That is something, you know, when I used to play games, I just always pressed like whatever button I would use to attack to mash, like B in this game or A in other games. And until I've, you know, discovered speedrunning, where I found out, hey, in every game you can essentially mash every button you want to and it will advance text, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So we're now in World 4, which is basically, for me, it's the, you know, relaxed world. There is still a lot of tech that you can employ here. Mainly, again, we're looking for gems to kill things faster, because if you notice, we still haven't upgraded our sword in quite a while. So our damage output is not that great, honestly, if we swing swords. So we want to get as many gems as we possibly can in order to kill things. But at the same time, this is not really a particularly hard part of the game. It's just you can lose a lot of time in this area if you're getting screwed on gems. That is the main thing about World 4, really.
Yeah, the sorcerers that come out of the lairs as you go further on are really jerks. And if you have enough gems to kind of kill them before they can move even outside of their lairs, it's usually extremely helpful.
Yep.
So
Unfortunately,
RPG, how are you feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. I haven't royally fucked up yet.
Okay. How are you gonna feel?
Do we feel like Rando?
Yeah. Do you feel like Rando?
Do I feel like Rando? Sure. I always feel like Rando.
Awesome, because we just got an anonymous $200 donation,
Holy
which
crap.
put us
Thank
at
you so much,
6,000.
person.
No better time to hit our current goal than during a run by the RPG chick herself, and during Soul Blazer, one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Donation to RPG Chick's Choice, wishing you the best, both in and out of the game.
Wow, thank you, anonymous person. That was very kind of you. I'm sure the Valks will be very happy when I break the news to them.
I know I am, so there is that. Agreed, love it.
So when you're done with your run or whatever, you got a couple $100 that you can choose towards the name or whatever if you want.
Yeah, I'll definitely figure that out. Wow, holy shnikes. Thank you guys so much. Also, these deer suck.
Yeah, but if you get close to them, they activate, and it's really, really much harder to hit them. So what you want to try to do is to shoot them from afar with the light arrow magic, which will essentially one-shot them. You don't have to kill them, but, you know, some of them are close, so you might want to get rid of them in one swift go. Also, there is like these ice patches here. Whenever you step on them, you're just sliding around, so you can't just freely walk on them. And in order to prevent that, we have to get an item called the mushroom shoes, which we're about to. The unfortunate part about this, in order to get them, we have to go back to town. So what we will have to do is we'll have to use the ferry that we're about to release to go back. And then we have to go all the way back up just to get past this one little section of ice here. But, you know, It is what it is.
At least not death warping. You do save the gems that you've collected up to this point, which is you're gonna start needing them in the next part. So.
Oh yeah. Big one.
Hello. I swear I can play this game, and I know where I'm going.
I mean, some of it might also be random muscle memory when you kill other layers.
Yeah, it is. I've been playing a lot of Hulk's Rando lately.
Yeah. There is a randomizer for this game, and if you like this game, I highly, highly recommend you try that one out. The Hulk made it, like RPG said, so it's definitely high quality. If you want a reason to replay this game, there is your reason.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, and he's been making a lot of updates to it, so it's super interesting to go through. It has definitely become one of my favorite randos. And here's one of my favorite layers, the jellies that take 5 years to spawn. Hello, thank you. Thank you for that gigantic gem. So you don't want to get too close to these guys because if once you get too close, they will move off of their off the layer and start teleporting everywhere.
Indeed, indeed.
I also really hate bats.
Yeah, bats are a bit difficult to hit actually, especially on ice here. If you want to kill them with the sword, you have to kind of, you know, wait a little bit, then go towards them, swing, and so on and so forth. That's why we want to use magic. And you have to time your magic shot really precisely to hit them 2 times in order to actually kill them. So, it can be quite the hassle, but yeah, we're gonna see a little bit more of bats in a second here.
I'm gonna save some of my gems though. Just because it's easier to do this one. Most of the time anyway.
Yeah, so we did pick up the magic armor while we read out that donation, by the way. And the magic armor, not only does it give us more defense, it also is a very nice armor because it halves the magic cost of every spell. So instead of taking 8 gems, the light arrow will now only take 4 gems per shot, which is very, very big.
Yeah, when I first looked at the notes for this game, and it was like shoot the mages, and I'm like, what? As soon as I get close, they move. But then I watched you guys, and it's like, oh, now I get it. So there's the Lucky Blade. There's our sword upgrade. Unfortunately, we are only level 11, and in this game, you have to be a certain level to swing a sword. So I can equip it and I can poke things with it, but I cannot swing it yet. but it does have the added benefit of supposedly giving larger gem drops.
Well, it increases the chance for you to get larger gem drops. The way it works is, depending on the frame you kill the enemy on, that determines your gem drop, and it just increases the amount of frames that give you better gem drops, depending on the enemy. So, I mean, in reality, you could still get all small gems if you have it equipped because you just hit unlucky frames, but, you know, it just higher the chance of you not getting that. The Magus frames? Yeah, it's happened more than once to me that I didn't have enough gems here. Yeah, one nice thing we could do there is just wait until everything spawned and then essentially save up a couple of gems because we can kill a lot of things at the same time. It's very nice.
Oh, there was one more. I hate these stupid bats.
Yeah, she's pulling the bats from that layer that we have to clear and then dragging them to the right one here, again, to save gems because we can kill 2 layers with essentially in one go. Which again saves us a little bit of gems because, you know, we have to only shoot so much magic in order to finish all of these off. Our gem count is looking alright. It's not that great, but it's definitely sufficient.
It's alright.
You always like to
kill some of the bats in the next area with the sword.
You should be fine as long as you don't get completely screwed over. You want to have about 60 here. You can get screwed, of course. Like, again, hitting the wrong frames for enemy kills could make it so that you have not enough, but should be fine. Oh, this game never lags, Wills. Don't worry about it. It's perfect. I mean, even in the vanilla game, not only for rando, in World 5 we're going to be in an area where there's so many enemies spawned on inside that area that, you know, if you spawn a couple more, you can't spawn magic anymore because there's a sprite limitation, which is kind of funky.
That's happened to me in the randomizer.
Yeah, it will definitely frequently happen there, but even in vanilla it can happen if you don't pay attention, which is kind of funny. Makes you wonder if they actually playtested this in some areas. Alright, we're almost done with World 4 here. Again, it wasn't too bad difficulty-wise. It's just a matter of, you know, getting a good amount of gems, which we are looking very good right now. So we got pretty good drops here. And the finale here is going to be just clearing up a couple more layers efficiently with magic, and then we're going to have one of the hardest boss fights in the game. I'm not sure. Are you ready for this boss fight? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's gonna be serious time, that's for sure.
Switch this, because I know I'm gonna trigger that first mage.
You're going too fast again.
I know.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has sirens in this area.
I mean, you know where I live, so...
That's right, yeah.
Let's switch so I can kill this thing. because I'm gonna open up the lair just for safety's sake.
Ah, the top one, yeah. That is fair. You want to maintain your gems. That's all right. That's a fair thing to do. So the top layer here is optional. Essentially, it's going to give you a waypoint to the Master's Hub, essentially, which the only reason to get that is normally what you would do after the boss's Death Warp, which will also make you lose all your gems. But if you free up the top layer, you can keep your gems for World 5, which is arguably the most difficult world in the game. So that is definitely something that you can and probably should do if you're not comfortable with World 5. Nice German inside joke, Dragon Strike. Alright, the reason we actually want these two middle layers, by the way, is that they are not actually relevant to clear out this world, but they will be relevant to beat the game. You do have to seal those two layers in the middle that we freed up right there in order to get the strongest magic in the game, which subsequently is also required to beat the game.
Get over here. I know it does technically save time if you don't release these now, but since I'm going upwards afterwards, might as well. Oh my god, what is going on today?
You're going too fast! Slow down already. Did you equip the power bracelet? I didn't see.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, this boss is incredibly easy. The only way you can die to this boss is if you forget to equip the power bracelet, which is why I mentioned that. Not that that would have ever happened to me before, but you know, gotta make sure. So Poseidon essentially pokes out, shoots fire at you, and then tries to poke you. If you position yourself correctly, the trident pokes will never hit you. So what you can do is just stand there and, you know, just look at him and be like, yeah, cool story, bro. And it's 4 cycles, and then you're done, essentially. Super easy boss.
Sirens are absolutely a daily part of my streams. I agree.
Hey, I feel you.
Yeah, but you can't usually hear them on your stream as badly as you can hear them online.
Yeah, I usually have my windows closed, but not right now, so...
Yeah, in the summertime I don't close mine either, so...
Yeah. So here, unlike in the other worlds, we actually have to talk to Gnome the snail here instead of the king in order to get our stone, which is a bit different, but well, I mean, there's no particular reason for that really, it's just Gnome was an acquaintance of Dr. Leo who gave these stones to certain people. But yeah, the king will not be unimportant. Remember the king for later. For now, we ignore him though, we don't really want to talk to him. I mean...
Now is the worst world for me.
Oh, that's right, High Spirit stayed here at night. I wonder if he was actually annoyed by the sirens. Because, like, I don't hear them anymore, obviously.
Yeah, I don't notice them unless people point them out to me.
Yeah, same. It's just like, it's kind of there, you know?
Too soon.
Alright, so, from the most chill world, pun intended, to the most difficult world in the game, it's World 5. Leo's Lab, while it has some kick-ass music, it also has some kick-ass enemies, unfortunately. There is a variety of enemies here that you cannot actually damage with magic or your sword. They are metal enemies, and in order to be able to damage them, we have to seal this first layer here and pick up the Sentetsu sword, which will actually enable us to hit them. Unfortunately, the Sentetsu sword does have a level requirement of level 16 in order to swing it. We can still equip it though, but we are only able to actually poke enemies with it. So, that is going to be making it a little bit more difficult to kill enemies. With the power bracelet, we can at least deal 2 damage at a time, but still. The additional difficulty here is that one floor below here, there is a lot of things that we want to damage boost through, so we have to actually pay attention to not take too much damage here. You should still get 1 level up. Whoa. Okay. We should still get 1 more level up here at some point, but yeah. So this is the first section here is going pretty nicely so far. We didn't take too much additional damage yet. Just gotta be careful to keep it that way. We do have 1 medical herb here for those purposes, and that medical herb would be routed in even if you wouldn't go for safety, so you actually need to take that much damage in order to use it. So we do have, fortunately, the ice armor, so in case things go very badly, the ice armor will be very, very helpful in the basement here.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the main reason I got it, because I don't leave the fire shrine to go back for it.
Alright, so yeah, these mice here that are going pretty much at light speed, they are the most annoying enemy down here. They're not really, you know, dangerous per se, but if you miss some of them on a layer that is required for you to kill it, then, well, it's going to take a long time in order for them to return. So you definitely want to make sure to kill those when you can. We did equip the ice armor there to go over the bridge. Again, that bridge would do damage to you if you wouldn't have it on, so having it is definitely a very, very good safety here.
And I'm gonna seal this layer just to bring my HP up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna lose the mice on the next layer. I always lose like 1 or 2.
You got this. I believe in you.
Almost had him.
I see, yeah. That's a wonky setup, but I like it.
It's not perfect, but it works most of the time.
Yeah. What you want to do is kind of what you did for the last one there. You want to start damaging them as they go up. And then when they make their turns, you want to go with them, and then you will most of the time will get them. All right, this is another dangerous part here. No, you still have herb, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh no, no, that's what the herb is for.
I know.
Yeah, so these enemies that charge you deal a lot of damage to you. Even though you have the, you know, most recent armor you can get essentially at this point, so they still deal a massive amount of damage to you. So that is the one reason, because you want to damage boost through that part right there. That is the one reason we have the medical herb here, in order to you know, make sure that we don't die there.
I know, I forgot to switch.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just explaining it. It's okay. I mean, it's not like it never happened to me before that I died there, but yeah. Again, this is the most difficult part of the game, so... Just run!
I don't like to just run.
Just run!
There, now I run.
If you run through the middle tube, yeah, or even there. There you go. Easy, not even taking damage. I don't know what you were worried about. Well. Well, I mean, you didn't take damage there.
Hello.
But yeah, you can't hesitate in this part for the most part. If you hesitate, you take damage pretty much. And I mean, it is scary, so understandably you do kind of, you know, hesitate here and there unless you're absolutely confident in your movements. This is probably the part that you need to practice the most out of everything.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
again, you know, this is basically ice armor, last safety you dropped mainly because of this part. We did get level 15 though, so there's a nice little refill for us. And there's only a little bit more to go, so the most difficult part of this area is already done. For the, well, I guess there's still the mice, but they only cost you time if you miss them.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
I mean, if that happens, that happens. Like, again, that happens to everybody once too, so... I mean, it happened to me more than one time before. Yeah, these cleaning robots, fortunately, you can kill them with normal swords as well. They're not metallic, so you can either shoot them with magic or kill them with a lucky blade, which both are viable at this point.
Can I, like, not stand on top of stuff? That'd be good.
You still have the herb, I want to say. I'm just saying, just saying. If things get tough, you can always switch. Yeah, that is the very good setup for the mice here. You want to poke them, then they take their turn, and you want to finish them off on the right section there. Very nicely done.
Took me a long time to learn that one.
It is a bit weird, especially since you can't really, if you want to do it fast, you can't really kill all of the bulldozers at the bottom there immediately, so it's kind of weird and counterintuitive to try and get that done quickly, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad.
Because these guys are going to come for me, and I'm going to use the lair on top. Normally there would be a death warp here, but I'm going to open the lair on top. To preserve my gems for the towns. And for these stupid things.
Yeah, it's not that big a time loss, it's just essentially +1 there, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Alright, so overall, aside from that death that didn't need to happen, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, the good thing is when you go into the other part of the metal monsters area, by then you're pretty much able to swing the sword, so it makes it a lot easier. And honestly, the towns are pretty simple as long as you're not trying to full clear them.
Yeah, we're going to skip a lot of stuff in these model towns. They are pretty, even though they are small, they are pretty big, actually. There's a lot of stuff you can potentially kill here, but yeah, most of it is actually relatively useless. So we're just going to gun for the ones that we actually need. Specifically, the second one that we're going to get after the first one here, we essentially just need to clear one layer, and that's it.
Yeah. It's really quite nice. Ooh, yes, please. I will take that.
So one quirk about these model towns is that there is enemy types here. There's catapults and there's I don't even know how to call them. They are little cupboards that drive around and shoot spikes at you. I don't know. I don't know. They look weird.
Well, you say cupboards. I think dresser. It's the same freaking thing. So.
Yeah, whatever. It's like, but they are invisible unless you get a soul that makes them visible. But for the speedrun, we of course don't get that. So whenever you see RPG kill something invisible, it's probably a catapult. But there's only I think two instances of where you need to kill catapults that are invisible. So it's not too bad to learn the layout for that.
I don't know who's trying to call me, but they need to go away. Also, if you notice, I kind of tend to stand with my right side to the monsters a lot because for some, I guess because of the positioning of his sword, when you swing towards the right, you tend to get more hits at once.
Indeed. It's the way the hitbox works, essentially, because the hitbox doesn't disappear until you can get a second hit in if you slash him from the right.
Also, I have absolutely zero intention of losing all of these gems.
Huh! Okay, I see. Well, that's a lot of gems, so yeah. I guess. Man, I can't remember the last time I had that many.
As long as I don't accidentally step on the catapults. Where the heck is it? There it is.
Yeah, again, the catapults here are invisible, so you need to learn the layout of these in order to actually know where they are. Or get the soul, but that soul is... it's a little huge time waste.
Soul's not worth it.
Definitely.
Alright, there we go. So yeah, unfortunately there's a lot of these, but I've got a lot of gems that I am not willing to give up. Because I can take them into Magrid Castle with me.
If you don't die.
Gee, thank you for a commentator's curse.
Hello?
It is slower. You're supposed to death warp for sure because the next set of stairs is all the way downstairs, but...
Yep, and I would recommend to heal up before you go there.
Oh yes, I definitely intended to. I don't know why I stepped up. Let me put the Zantetsu sword back on. I can actually swing it now.
Yep. The good thing is that the further you go in the game, the more the experience scales to what you should be. So even though we don't kill a lot in the speedrun, once you go to the next world, you will catch up pretty quickly. And now we're picking up... this is optional as well, but everybody does pick up this light armor just because it's so good. Like, the light armor gives you a lot more defense compared to the magic armor, which we do lose the ability to, you know, have our magic cost, but at the same time, the light armor is just so good that, you know, pretty much everybody still gets it. There is a way to skip it, but, you know, if you skip the light armor, you start losing time as soon as you know, start going slow for one of the next parts, and that will happen very, very quickly, so... And, like, until the end of the game, that is, of course, and, yeah. So, essentially, you would have to have a perfect run from here until the very end in order for it to be worth it to skip it. Alright, we're coming up to the boss of this world. So optimally, again, but that's especially in this case really questionable. Optimally, you would just go to the boss and then try to quick kill it without
But
even.
my HP's a little low, and I don't want to use my herb yet.
I wouldn't do it myself, really. Like, it's literally a thing you need to do in order to get world record. You would have to death ward without actually sealing this layer, which is absolutely crazy because you lose all your gems as well. But that's just optimal. So heal up before the boss is definitely recommended because I mean, the boss is really simple in itself, especially if you have full health. As long as you do it right, you can't die. However, there's a slight bit of RNG to this boss. He's going to shoot out rockets and fireballs at right here,
Shoot,
and
I'm getting low.
it is reasonably well. It is pretty random whether or not or where these are placed. So it can be kind of random for you to just get hit for no reason there. So having full HP here is definitely recommended. But other than that, as long as you are just one tile left from him, he will not change where he goes. He will just maintain in the middle there and go up and down. So as long as you can guarantee that, will have a reasonably easy time with him. Yes, Hulk does actually skip it. Again, it's fairly RNG. Like, most of the time he should be nice to you, but sometimes, you know, a fireball can just get you. If you skip it, the heal, you did. That can just happen, so... it is definitely a very advanced strategy. And again, the other drawback is you do kind of have to want to have gems for the next part. And if you die, you of course lose all of them. So what ends up happening is that you have to hope that in the next part you get very good gem drops. And I personally am not a fan of that.
I'm not particularly a fan of Madrid Castle, period, especially the towers.
Yeah. So the biggest problem with the next area is really the enemies are not too bad. It's just that they deal a lot of damage to you if you make a mistake. So like, it's not particularly hard to move through there, but if you are off in one section, that can cost you pretty big. So I would say that World 5 movement is actually more difficult, but World 6 is definitely more punishing than World 5.
I would definitely agree with that. I used to average like multiple deaths in Leo's lab, but now usually I only do about one accidental death. Or none if I'm lucky.
Maybe you're not lucky, you're just good.
Well, I'm better than I was when I started 2 years ago for the annual race.
Well, I would hope so.
That was the first time I ever ran this. So this is the slower way to get the ghosts. If you stand in this upper corner here, they technically can't get you, but you see they teleport around a lot. So it can be really fast or it can be really, really slow depending on how they teleport around.
Which is, of course, random.
Yes.
Gotta love the random element of things.
And of course it's the worst in the next area where their lair is between two heads that shoot fireballs at you. And this ghost doesn't want to do anything, so I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah, so additionally, we did pick up the Spirit Sword, which is the only way to actually hit the ghosts. Unfortunately, we do need level 19 in order to swing that sword, so we need to do a little bit of a catch-up here, and the only way to deal damage to ghosts, well, hold your sword out and hope that they run through it, essentially.
Yeah. This is, like I said, particularly the worst if they teleport around too much because of the heads spewing fireballs at my face.
Yeah, the fireballs don't do a lot of damage, but, you know, if you take too long, then, well, you do take a lot of damage. Yeah. So you're supposed to get a level up here, but since we did kill a lot of stuff earlier, we already got that one specifically for the health refill right here, so gotta be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, I'm used to this one, so it's alright.
Yeah.
Plus the basement isn't as bad, so.
Yeah. Again, this has a lot of invisible stuff here, and there is a soul that makes you see those things. Mostly treasure chests, really. There's a couple other things, but yeah. We want to pick up, well, first of all, a strange bottle, and then a medic herb that are hidden here. What the strange bottle does is actually whenever you die and you have the strange bottle equipped, it will preserve all the gems you have. It just breaks afterwards, of course. So that's a very nice way of maintaining gems and death warping at the same time.
Yeah, this is another area where you really want to have the magic available to you, because as you saw upstairs when I tried to walk by those orbs, if you get too close, they just teleport everywhere. And they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Alright, let me switch my sword. And one more spooky ghost slayer to seal.
Yep. But then we're
And
done
that's
with the
it
basement.
after this.
Yep.
Come on, one more. There we go.
Not
And
too bad.
I have absolutely, totally, never forgotten to equip the strange bottle here. That's never happened. I'm gonna take the armor off too.
You must continue making steady progress.
We're trying.
Yeah, so World 6 is actually a little bit more complicated again than the worlds before regarding what you have to seal and what you have to do. You have to do a lot of little stuff in order to progress here. We need to get access to the left tower here, and the way we do that is, aside from the aside from the spirit sword that we picked up a hidden harp string, and this musician right here needs a harp string in order to play his music. So we give it to him, and then the soldier we released will move from down below there, and in the spot the soldier stood in, we will find a card that will give us access to the left tower. And in a similar fashion, the right tower in this world, we will also need to find a card for that. So we'll have to do a little bit of a workaround in order to get that.
Alright, here's where it starts to get hard for me again, but I'm gonna do the best I can.
Yeah, this is definitely, it's not difficult to do this part, but if you make a wrong move, you take a lot of damage, so you want to be very, very careful here.
If you forget to switch swords, you also take a lot of damage.
Yeah, so far it's fine, you just took, oh, well,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm not
well,
gonna use my herb here because I'm gonna save it for the winged beast. So if I die, I die. Unfortunately.
I see. That's fair. Should be fine, though. Again, we have fireballs
usually
here.
the right tower that I die in, usually. So, yeah.
That's fair. There's a couple of things that require you to move reasonably precisely, so...
Don't move, horse. I hate these things.
You got enough gems, you can waste a lot, so just keep trying. It's better than taking damage.
Yeah.
Honk honk.
What? Oh, cars, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, these things, if you haven't noticed, also have an invulnerable phase while that spikiness is going on.
Yeah. So they do move relative to where you are positioned, yeah, but they move like chess knights, essentially. So they always hop, in diagonals.
Yeah.
And then after they hopped, they will essentially put out their spikes, which make them invulnerable. So an easy way to deal with them is, fortunately, you can shoot magic at them, which is really, really nice. So you don't have to actually get close to them. Which would be the fastest way, but definitely, if you're not comfy, it's recommended to try to shoot magic at them.
Okay, that was pretty much the worst part, so we're through there. The rest of the tower is not so bad.
Yeah, so the purple knights you see, by the way, they will always move straight towards you and swing their sword at them. The red knights, they will always also move straight towards you, but their little quirk is that they have a boomerang that they throw instead when you get close. So, oh nice, level 19 already, that's good.
Yep.
So yeah, you want to have position one diagonal towards them in order to actually be able to for them to throw the boomerang, but you won't get hit by it. So that's a very nice way of dealing with those.
And we're gonna skip these dancing dudes.
Yeah, the easiest enemy of Ward 6, but you never kill them, so yay.
Well, except for the one time in tower, right?
I guess. But they're just kind of there, essentially. They start moving eventually, but it's not really irrelevant because you would have killed them 10 times by the time they start moving. Alright, and we do need to seal every single layer here because everything is important for you in order to actually get access to the boss of this world. So in order to get access to the boss of this world at the airship that we already saw when we released the soldier earlier, we do need to release 2 soldiers in total, and Dr. Leo.
And by releasing the soldier first, I am saving a little bit of text.
Actually...
Oh, I thought I was.
Yeah, it's the other way around. You need to release Leo first.
Oh.
Yeah, because now he's going to tell you about the stone and the world of evil, and yeah, you should come. The airship is set there, and
So if you release him first, he doesn't say all of
that? He just says, "Hey, I'm Leo. Please rescue the soldier."
Oh. Okay.
And then he's done.
Well, now I know.
Yeah. This is only a time save in the US version too. In the Japanese version, it doesn't matter because text is a lot faster. And you do actually walk a little bit more if you release Leo first, but that is negated by the fact that he has a lot less text.
Gotcha. That's good to know. I actually thought it was the other way around. All right.
We also released Queen Margaret, which is the queen of this whole castle, obviously. And she just chills in this house here and is like, "Hey, am I pretty?" And you say, "Yeah, you are." And then she will give you access to the right tower. Easy peasy.
This floor is the bane of my existence.
Yeah, this is the hardest part of World 6, I think, this floor here specifically. Because right here in the middle, there's going to be... We have to spawn 4 layers in total here, back to back, in order to get access to one that will give us or release us a soldier that we actually need in order to get access to the king. And it is reasonably difficult to not take a lot of damage here.
Yeah, I pretty much always die here. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, you definitely did. Like, I can't... Yeah, you did. I mean, I would just take the death at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, you got the lair beforehand! Nice!
That's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to get the lair first.
Nice. Nice. But yeah, you're pretty much bound to take damage from the fireballs, which again is not that much, but, you know. Additionally, if you make a wrong move then and take damage from one of the enemies, it can get pretty dire pretty quickly.
I can never get around these stupid things before they hit me.
Yeah, you have to move on a specific half tile and then move right in order for them to jump, you know, in a preferred way, but it is pretty difficult to position yourself correctly.
Oh, crap. They just ganged up on me. That was scary for a second there.
It's what they do.
Alright. Okay.
Okay, we're looking good right now.
So we're gonna skip this whole floor.
Yeah.
And we're gonna skip this whole floor.
Only one more layer that we need to seal right here at the end. Gotta kill 4 red knights here in order to actually get access to the boss.
And unfortunately, I'm out of... Oh, thank you. That was gems. That was most definitely gems.
Yeah.
At least some, anyway, so I don't die down here. Thank you. And go refill before the boss fight. And pray the bird doesn't kill me again. Because the bird is good at that.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't, really.
I know, but I have stupid fingers. Or as Fred likes to call them, Fred fingers.
I see. So yeah, this is also the longest cutscene in the game, so we're gonna talk a little bit about, yeah, I made this machine to call Death Toll, and King Magritte abused it, but now we want to fight and, you know, make sure Death Toll dies, so in order to do that, he wants us to get on the airship to, you know, release King Magritte. However, the Queen, the plot twist, actually wants access to the machine because she wants to make another deal with Death Toll, because she's greedy. So, and Leo's like, well, I can't really do that. I'm done with this nonsense. But unfortunately, the Queen also captured Leo's daughter, which is Lisa. If you remember World 1, we didn't even talk about Lisa because we ignored her, but, you know, it's the daughter, and, you know, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Leo...
the one that screamed at us to get out of her house, and we left.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Leo's kind of like in a position now where, you know, he doesn't want to have them hurt Lisa, so he kind of gives in, but his plan is actually, you know, to get rid of the Queen in a, well, very bad fashion at the end here. Because, you know, he does give us the key for the airship, so he wants us to release King Magritte, and then, you know, we're gonna play some Sudoku. And of course, properly ignore that he just did that and just peace out.
We're gonna pray I don't screw this up royally.
Yeah, so the Demon Bird is actually kind of a difficult boss if you don't exactly know how he works, but every time the Demon Bird reaches the edge of the screen, he will stop and then either dive towards you or dive horizontally. So what you want to have him do is, you know, go horizontally because you can deal a lot of damage to him that way, but the amount of dives he gets, or whenever he dives, you know, vertically, that's actually random. So we got 3 so far, I want to say.
I'd better put my herb on, because one more hit and he's gonna wreck my life.
Yep.
Yep, there
Definitely.
we go.
I think we're at 5 dives, at least on my end. 6.
7.
Spoiler. At least for me.
Bird, please. There we go. That was
Was
a
it
lot
10?
of freaking dives. I think that was 10. At least it wasn't 22.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're oh, 9 dives, says chat. But at least you're still doing a little bit of damage to him when he dives.
Yeah.
And
Every
before
time.
I learned the speedrun strat, I used to kind of just stand in the corners, and when he dove, I did damage to him. It was super slow, but he never did damage to me that way.
That's definitely something you can do.
But yeah, that was my slow strat for this fight until I learned the proper way to do it. Thank you for staying with me while you went away and killed the bird.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, it's supposed to be the way that, you know, Lisa and the Blazer, you fall in love, but in a speedrun that doesn't really come across very, very well because, you know, you kind of just ignore her for the most part.
Well, to be honest, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense casually either, in my opinion, but whatever.
You do at least get a little bit of time with her if you talk to her, you know, like, but it definitely doesn't make a lot of sense. That is for sure. So a nice little item that was hidden here where the queen stood, if you go back there, you get the invulnerable bracelets, which actually, there is a defense bracelet that you can find, which does the same thing the power bracelet does just for defense, it doubles it. The invulnerable bracelet is a hidden item that basically combines the two. So you have double power and double defense now, which is very, very good for the world of evil that we're about to head to.
So from here on, it's really not so bad, because Death Toll is a pretty easy fight.
Worthless bracelet, you mean? Well, I mean, I guess. That is something you can also skip in a speedrun, but that is something you only do if you go for world record. Because, you know, if you get hit one more time without that, then you're dead, essentially. With the invulnerable bracelet, we can get hit a couple times and don't care about it, really. So, that's a very good thing about it. But yeah, the world of evil doesn't have any layers that release anything. It's just like every layer you kill essentially opens up a pathway to something else. Also, you will notice the enemies here give you 1 billion experience, essentially.
Come on, you stupid thing. Because it's gonna keep following me.
Yeah, these flies move like the birds, so... But they also have the added twist that they become invisible whenever they move, so what happens is you can't hit them during that phase, so you have to wait for them to move in a favorable way in order to finish them off. Should get a level up here reasonably soon.
Yeah. Could you get away from me, please? There we go. Where's the other one? There it is.
He doesn't want to come down today.
Apparently not.
You need to kill these, I'm gonna call them Minotaurs, in order to release that waypoint to the hub there. so you can get the treasure chest down there. And why that is, I'm gonna explain in a second once we get there. So now, I already talked a little bit about, you know, getting the ultimate magic and how the Mountain King, remember World 4, is needed for that. There's 2 other items we need, but fortunately, they are right here. That is the best armor and the best sword in the game. The soul armor and the soul blade, which, I mean, obviously not only the strongest gear, but, yeah, also required in order to beat the game, interestingly enough. Like, they literally require you to get the strongest items in the game. Oh, you don't have a herb, do you?
No,
Oh boy.
I usually don't for here.
Interesting. I mean, it's not too bad, but... Ah, I see. You kill those first. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. As long as they don't kill me.
They do that.
There we go, that's 1. And that's 2. A lot of the times, luckily, once they hit you once, they kind of stop for a while.
Yep. So one more thing we have to do here is in the bottom right is the Soul Blade, the strongest sword in the game, which the only way to hit... the Soul Blade will essentially... Usually we had like swords to hit certain enemies, Fantastic Sword for metal, Spirit Sword for, you know, spirits. The Soul Blade would just hit everything. Literally everything. So including these nice little platforms here that you're not supposed to kill, and these little rotating platforms here will give you the most amount of experience you can get in the game. So if we ever wanted levels, that would probably be the enemy to get them on, because they do respawn for free. But yeah, additionally to having to have those 2 items, we do need to get the strongest magic in the game, which is the Phoenix. That we will need in order to actually get access to the final boss. And the way we do that is we have to collect 3 red-hot items. One of them was in the little chest there we picked up right there. And 2 of them are hidden away in the world somewhere. One of them is going to be right here in World 2. We have to go to the Light Shrine here in order to remember the suns. Yeah, you can actually kill them. They are spirits, so you can actually kill them with the Spirit Sword and the Soul Blade.
Here it is.
So what the game wants you to do is go back here and then kill all of these suns. You can release a bird that will give you one of the red-hot items, and the other one is in World 3, where there is a metal Donkey Kong lair that you can kill in order to obtain the other one. So you have to do a little bit of a run around here, essentially, at the end.
Oh god, cat, go away, it's too hot.
I'm surprised that your cat is actually active. My cat just like naps the whole day.
One of them is, the other one is not.
Yeah.
She wants to sit on my lap, and it's too hot for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess I should switch weapons too. That would be helpful if I want to kill the metal monkeys and not poke them to death.
Well, you're not even taking intentional damage.
No.
So what you can do here, you can keep the soul armor on and then take damage here because you want a death warp anyways, but apparently we are very cautious. Very
Yes.
cautious.
Extremely.
I see, you released the fairy in order to go back.
It's good enough for me.
I mean... Okay, this is where I draw the line, honestly. That is just completely unnecessary, but okay, that's fair. It's fair.
I just wants to kill me right now.
I mean, I've been on board with most of the safeties, but this one is just kind of like, you get gems anyways from the
I
platforms.
know from the platforms.
Oh, I
You can-
guess it makes sense if you disable the mermaids, or if you use the mermaids tiers, but I guess you didn't do that, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to doing that, so a lot of the
Okay.
time I don't have
Alright,
anything to really warp on.
It makes sense now.
Okay.
It makes sense now. Because you don't want to death warp on these enemies if you don't have the lava, because that will take literally forever.
Yeah. I should have pressed the Y button. Stop talking to me.
Go visit the Mountain King already.
I'm going. God.
Alright, so here we are, and we're finally going to talk to the Mountain King. The Mountain King is first of all going to give us the dialogue that says, hey, thanks for rescuing me. And then he's going to give you the hint about, yeah, you gotta get Phoenix. And once you have the red items, you can go back to this guy, and then the thing is, it's not enough to just have the Mountain King released here. You do have to release both grandmas as well, because they have to dance for you in order to get Phoenix. True story.
Dancing grandma hype.
So yeah, the Phoenix will join you, which will automatically give you access to the final boss. But the Phoenix joins you as a magic spell, essentially. It's the best magic spell in the game, but the way it works is really specific, because in order to use Phoenix, you have to have the Soul Blade and the Soul Armor equipped, because otherwise you cannot actually deploy the Phoenix, which is a bit weird if you ask me, but that's the way it is. So, and when you have those equipped, you can equip Phoenix, and whenever you swing your sword, it will automatically shoot out a Phoenix, which costs you 2 gems. So the problem here is that in order to swing our Soul Blade, we need to have level 24, which unfortunately the platforms that we already talked about a little bit here, they will give us a bunch of experience in a very quick way. So grinding to level 24 will not take too overly long. The target experience here, as is, you know, for a game like Soul Blazer, of course, it's 420,000, so yeah. Shouldn't take too long. The platforms give 4k each. You have these 3 platforms. You have the teleporter, which is 12k per cycle, essentially. So you do the math. No math, please. It's going to not take very long.
Yeah, this was another thing I didn't realize you could actually do until I did the speed run. I didn't realize you could actually kill these things with the sword. It was nice to find out.
Yeah, this is where young me maxed out my level. It took very long.
There's a max level on this thing.
Oh yeah, there is. There is a max level.
But the nice thing is if you play Hulk's Rando, and you get the Soul Blade early, those spikes and things, the spears coming out of the walls, you can totally go and kill those things.
Yeah, the Soul Blade literally kills everything.
It's pretty awesome, to be honest. Level 50 is max. Thank you, Hulk.
Yep. It takes hours to get that, though. Indeed, it does. One day we'll have a true 100% speedrun where we'll grind like 6 hours to level 50.
We've been shouting out your rando like the whole time, so no worries, Hulk. We love that thing.
Alright, and it is final boss time against Death Toll, and the whole reason you actually need the Phoenix is because you can't reach Death Toll otherwise. That's literally it. So like you need to shoot the Phoenix at him in order to be able to damage him. The only time he is damageable is after he shoots out the lasers. Shortly afterward he will shoot out fireballs, and in that specific animation he is vulnerable to your hits. So the ideal way, because this fight lags a little bit, is that you want to try to get the lasers off screen and kill all the flames, and then, you know, if the laser is off screen, you will not create a lot of lag while shooting out the Phoenix. You can get a hit in about 5 to 6 hits per cycle if you do it right. There we go. And the fight shouldn't take longer than about 1.5 minutes-ish. There we go. Looking good so far, reducing lag pretty well. Yeah, the blue flames unfortunately are reasonably random in their spawns, so sometimes you can just get screwed over and it takes a little bit too long for them to you know, remove them. So the cycle will get off pretty quickly, but yeah. You do have to be a little... Nice. GG. You do have to be a little bit careful to not get hit too much. Fortunately, Death Toll's attacks are always in the same place, essentially, so it's reasonably easy to dodge most of that. You want to intentionally, of course, sometimes just move through them, but yeah.
Yeah, it's I usually don't go into this fight with a medical orb. It's really not that bad.
Yeah. Just gotta be a little bit careful.
Yeah. And that's Soul Blazer. That wasn't too bad. That was only about a minute off my PB.
Well... Nah, it was good. It was good.
It's alright. Sometimes, someday I'll get good, and I'll get that sub too.
Easy, free, one might say. I mean, my good friend Big Fong Balls has sub too, doesn't he? So it has to be free.
Poor Bic. But while I'm here, I do want to say thank you to everybody again. You've been really super generous, and thank you to High Spirits, of course, for putting this on to begin with, and everybody who's done runs. You're all super, super, super awesome, and this is, you have no idea, it's greatly appreciated. So thank you again for everything, and I'm gonna break the news to the rest of the Valkyries that because I see Nikki in chat that we're playing Mystic Quest right now.
Too late. I tweeted about it already. They've all been warned.
But yeah, we will figure out a date for that. Because we've actually got some rando fun for you all coming up pretty soon, actually. And this will just be extra on top of that. So when we figure out a date, we will announce it on Twitter and in the Discord. So look out for that. It'll be sometime in August, probably.
Oh, thank you very much. We still got a lot of time to kill because it's going to take us a little bit of time to set
But
up
yeah,
this
High
next
Spirits,
race.
if you need to switch, just let me know.
Hey, I forgot I had you muted all along. Oops. I thought I clicked that button. Leave me alone. I'm trying to set something up here.
It's all good.
I said
It's all good.
bad news, I said, by the way. I tweeted about it a long time ago. The Valkyries know.
Oh, well, that's fine. I'm still gonna tell them in the channel, though.
Well, we did get a $10 donation at the end from Klutz Leo that says, on behalf of myself and Game Octane, thank you very much. But yeah, we got some time before we're going to be able to start the next race because we're 25 minutes early right now, and we might be changing things up here layout-wise and whatnot, so it's going to take me some time to work on this.
Okay.
But thank you very much, RPGchick and Elmagus.
Anytime.
Yeah, that was
Anytime,
not
huh?
so bad.
Anytime, huh?
Anytime. Just say the word. Uh-oh. I'm gonna go hide now. Cheers.
Okay, so like I said, we're gonna need some setup time for this because we're way ahead of schedule, and there's probably gonna be some layout changes and whatnot going on.